line. Okay, now let's go to the next line. Let's create another input. Input is so interesting. You need to love it. Input. Type again. Now this type around, let's call this type a checkbox. Check. That's the type. As usual, you must have a what? A name for it. This checkbox now, let's just say month. The name for it, month. Now this one can accept, it doesn't accept placeholder. Sorry, I wanted to say it can accept. Placeholder only accept it if it's going to create a box, and it's going to create a box only when you have it kind of like a text or something you can type by yourself. Check boxes or radios you don't type, so it does not accept placeholder. All right, now let's go to the let's create the ID for it. The ID for it, let's call it still the same month. Let's just call it month. So I forgot to create our label. So label for this one, the 4 is going to be what? Month. Remember why we're creating a 4 for the label. Why? So that it can be able to trigger the ID in the input. Now let's type in the month we want to type in here. Let's say March. Well, not in March, but let me just say March. Now let me save it. See, this is a checkbox. This is a what? Checkbox. So if I click inside, see, it's checked. If I click inside, this is a radio button, it's checked. Okay, good. Now let me uncheck it. I don't know why radio is not allowing me to uncheck, but anyway, checkbox is allowing me to check and uncheck. Now you notice that it is not checked, but if I put in the boolean attribute called checked, then if I save it, if I come see, it's already checked for me. It's checked. That means it's not going to allow me. It's already checked. So it's already checked. I can still uncheck it, but it's better. That means that the person is trying to tell you that leave it as checked. We want it checked. Okay. All right. So another input. Since they are all coming on the same line, let's do this. It's very interesting. Now, guess what that thing is? It's called BR. It's called a line break. Line break. Let's save it. See, now BR can allow inline to drop. BR is called line break. So let's put BR here. It's a line break. And let's put BR here also. It's a line break. So now, if you save everything are now going to fall on different C. They're now falling on different lines. So name, day of month is this, day of appointment is this, and then this is here. Okay, so this label, we didn't give it a value. Let's just say month. Month, save it. Gonna come here, see, month. Okay, that's cool, right? Good. Now, next step is, I put a line break here. This is not meant, there's not meant to be a line break here. Save it. Let me go back. I want everything. So this is the label. Now look at it. If I click on this month, it triggers. Why is it triggering? Can you remember why it is triggering? It is triggering because the label has a 4 value and the input has an ID value, which both matches. So if I click on just month, it's going to trigger it. If I click on this, it's going to trigger. If I click on this, it's going to trigger. Okay, so that's how it works. Label and 4. You know that sometimes you just have to explain over again for people to get it. Now, label again. I wrote label. Maybe we want to label something. Now, label 4. Let's go down. Input. Now, this input type, let's call it date. Date. Okay, as usual, let's give it a name. Name is important because when you're submitting, because of the post, when you're posting it, okay, so that this person is going to see it. So when the site is being posted, when this form is posted, finally, the person will have name of client, to show the name of client, that's the name the person typed in. Day to book an appointment, it will put, where is it, day, it's going to put it there. Month is going to put it there. So this name right now, let's call this date. Let's give it an ID, just for ID is for triggering. It's for triggering. So this label 4 and ID is gonna work together. So label 4, let's call this also let's call it date, right? Let's call it date, just for easy access. Let's call this also date. Now the label here is date of submission. Date of submission, that's the label. Is that correct? Now let's save it. Now let's go right here. See, date of submission. This is it. So this is for date. Remember, what is making them work majorly is the type, input type, the type, radio. Don't joke with the type. Type, checkbox. Don't joke with it. Type, date. Don't joke with that. Type, text. Don't joke with it. Okay. So now type date is what works, is what made the date come up. Okay, good. All right, so now if I click here, I can now select a day. Let's say we're in January. Let's say we're in June 2022. Let's say just the person's going to click on 28. So the person, this is the date the person is choosing. So you can see this is a form already. Name, the day. This is a radio. Checkbox. This is date. This is text. Now another input. Now instead of me doing this, okay. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Label. You know what? Label, no problem, no problem. Let's continue. Label. All right. Now, after label, what goes next is going to be input. So let's click input. Okay. Now, by default is always text. Now, let's make this input from time. There's another type called input type called time. The name also, let's make it time. Now let's give it an ID. Let's also call it time, because we want to make sure that this ID with this one is the same. Time. Now let's call it time. The label is time of day. Now after we did this one, we didn't put a line break. Now if I save it now, look at this, it's going to fall on the same line. See, they're going to fall on the same line. So I need to put a line break, right? So the line break right here, BR tab, so it's a line break for the next one. Okay, now save it, go right here, it's going to drop. Now if I click on date of submission, remember they both have the same, this is label 4 input ID. So if I click here, it's going to trigger for day. Okay, so it's telling me that what day do you want? It's triggering this box. So if I click on time of day right now also, it's triggering this box. So I can come over here and click here. See, time. Let's say the time is 7:20. Good. See? You can even change the PM if you want, AM to PM, whichever way. Okay. Can you see? That's one input type time.